Into the PHNX Rising podcast. Here we go, post-game show. Phoenix Rising with a 3-1 victory on the road against Rhode Island. Their first away victory all season long. Comprehensive performance, start to finish. Little stuff in between. We'll get to that, but this was by far Rising's most complete performance of the entire season. Comes on the road, cross-country. We've been downing this team. We thought their changes needed to be made. Changes were made. They got the job done. Let's go, baby. I am Max Simpson, and I'm joined by a mitten-wearing cold boy.
They're gloves. They're not mittens, Max. There's a difference between gloves and mittens.
They could be mittens. We don't know.
They're gloves.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Let's go.
There we go. It was a 3-1 win in the end. I mean... Wow. Just a first half performance that you go in at the break and feel like things were clicking well. Could have been different, of course, if it weren't for Rocco Rios Novo making a save. We can debate later on if you think it was a penalty or not, if it's harsh or not. And then all of a sudden, as the game comes towards its conclusion, you think, okay, they've managed to weather the storm. They're gonna see this out. Suddenly everything turns on its head again, and for a brief moment you think, are they going to throw this away? And I emphasize brief because about a minute later they put the ball in the back of the net once again.
Oh, an ambulance, but not for me.
Not for me. Indeed. Yeah. So big 3 points here. Big 3 points. Especially, we've said, how many times have we said this? With the games that are coming up, had to win tonight. And they did.
Big time. We love everyone here in the freaking chat. Let's go. And I will say, SC Collective might have the most important chat in here so far. Rising win. So Max, toilet bowl shot. My friends, this is the first away victory of the season. You know damn well what we do with away victories. Now, I will say one thing. I'm here at Gila River Resorts Casinos Wild Horse Pass. We're working the Suns watch party. They're all rowdy and all that stuff. It's kind of grim and all that stuff. Not here. This post game, it's late. I'm literally in the back corner away from all this noise. So there's no toilet bowl shot. I'm going to caveat with that. But we are going to give
pretzels.
No
pretzels.
You know what?
Kyle says 3 goals equals 3 pretzels.
Hush. We're going to give you a nice regular shot, courtesy of the Discord. I asked them what drink we're having. We're having a little whiskey. Here we go.
See it off, Mr. Simpson. There we go.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Yeah, baby. Let's go. Oh, man, that first one of the season, that tastes damn good. All right, let's go. Everyone in chat, absolutely love it. Let's see. Siley in the chat says mittens are for silly kittens. I love that. Devinall, he did actually kept the receipts, pulling it up in the chat from podcast earlier in the week. Gets the score right. 3-1. Let's see. Everyone in the chat. Zanel in the chat. Max Wayne's fault. Apparently that's like our celebrity name, our celebrity couple name. Max Wayne's. Max and Owain. Yeah, there we go. That's something I really didn't think I need to know, but here we are. But hey.
Well, normally it gets kind of jumbled up in a different way.
It does, man. No, we're
less than that one.
Yes, and Reese is having some PTSD from hot dogs, right? We're not going to talk about that. We are going to talk about.
I had a hot dog today. It was all right.
Yeah. Yours, you little USL scran. I saw your tweet.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
We can talk about hot dogs and stuff all day long, but we're going to talk about the victory. I think, right? Oh, and let's set the scene, right? Let's start even before the game starts, right? We were talking after last post game of this team, right? There's a lot of wholesale changes. There's guys that you need to be able to bring in to solidify this team. But the reality is, as we've said, we don't know when that's going to happen. So what can you do and tinker with the lineup in order to get the most out of this team? And this lineup changed in a big way. We got both wingbacks switching out. You got Powerito and Azakar. You got speed up top, being able to stretch this Rhode Island team vertically. You got Remi Cabral coming back, right? He already came back from the red card suspension. He's back in a starting position. And you saw a team who they understood who was in front of them. You can say what you want about Rhode Island, but they played on the front foot. And after that 20-second stretch at the beginning of the game where you thought they're going to let in a goal, which was kind of scary, this team pretty much dominated the entire match.
Yeah. I mean, look, well, there were large periods, I think, the second half where they absorbed pressure, but you can expect that. But overall, I think Rising with the team on top today, and I think if Rising had not come away with 3 points today, I think that would have been a very, very unfortunate result. I think these 3 points are well deserved for this team. Again, look, you mentioned the change in the personnel, but also I feel as though there's an element here of just Remi Cabral has really, really settled in at this point.
Oh, yeah.
We're seeing peak Remi Cabral. We knew that he's capable of scoring at a high clip. We knew that. Did it with Colorado Rapids to an MLS Pro. And the thing is that poacher's instinct that you come into this kind of, into this sport with. It doesn't really matter what level you're at. You've still got that poacher's instinct. And I think that's what we're seeing. He's making smart runs, getting in good positions. And ultimately, he's burying those chances. And so, yeah, there's a lot we can get into with the way he linked up with some of those different players that came in. But still, just shout out to Remi Cabral.
It is the Remi Cabral show, right? We have seen that in every game that he has started, right? Even when the goals aren't coming in plenty, he has been producing. Even early on, right, his first chance of the game, even just such a little thing of you see the ball coming in, allows it, he kind of just takes a step back, he bodies the defender, and even though it doesn't end up resulting in a goal, just the little movement of saying, hey, I'm going to let the ball come across my body, take that step in and kind of body people, he has either getting in the right positions or he's forcing his way into those right positions. And he's a guy, and this is key for that number 9 position of he knows how to strike. He has that instinct, but he's very calm on the ball. He's not rushing his shots. He's very deliberate and decisive in his movements, but he lets the game come to him. That's what we love to see in a striker. It's been paying dividends.
Yes, absolutely. And again, we knew he was capable of doing this. We did. It was just a question of if and when it would click, and also just other parts of the team that needed to click as well. Tonight, everything came together. There are still a couple of lingering doubts I have about how replicable certain parts of this are.
Sure.
Especially on a long-term basis. But there were good signs tonight. Some very, very good signs.
Absolutely. And listen, this is something I know we're going to get into a little bit further next week. This is, you got to understand who you're playing, right? You can only beat and play who's in front of you. That's exactly what they did. They shored up. We have seen in recent seasons, again, even a lot of this similar Rising players, they have faced inferior opposition and they have not stood up to the challenge, not even in a decisive manner like this. They're able to get the job done on the road. Listen, you got to take it, something that to be building on. They have guys who coming into this team, right? You have Panos coming back into the starting lineup. Again, the wingbacks coming back in. Remi Cabral. There was a lot of changes today that I think very much up the tempo of this team. This team was a lot more decisive. And let's actually take a look at the numbers, right? By the numbers, this is actually going to paint a nice little picture of, even though it was a team who played a little bit more deliberate, not as many shots and one as you would think. These are, of course, presented by this is Financial Credit Union, Arizona's number 1 rated credit union by Forbes, right? Phoenix Rising 3-1. XG 1.2 for Rising, 1.89 for Rhode Island. Shots, Rising got doubled on this one. 8 shots for Rising, 16 for Rhode Island. But here's the big differentiator. Of those 16 shots for Rhode Island, only 3 on target. For Rising, it was half of their 8 shots. That's 4. You're telling me in a game where you have 8 shots, half of them are on target, and essentially half of them are in the back of the net. Pretty damn good. And here's the thing, crazy part. When does Rising lose the possession battle? Hardly ever. They lost tonight 46-54. Still didn't matter. And there are 2 other stats aren't on this graphic that are very key in my mind. And here's a crazy one. Touches in the opponent box. Phoenix Rising 10, Rhode Island 42. Passes in the final third. Phoenix Rising 83, Rhode Island 194. This was a team.
Let's contextualize that. I'm going to contextualize it before you even go any further with this, Max.
Hold on. This is a team where we have said they need to create more chances in the final third. And while they did, this was a very key thing of it wasn't just quantity for the sake of quantity, it was quality as well.
Yeah, I think the big thing here is that Rhode Island had a lot of possession in the final third and they had a lot of touches in the opposition box. But how many times did you see them really get into space? How many times did you see them?
That's what I'm trying to say when you so rudely cut me off, buddy.
They just didn't. Yeah. Every time, I mean, there are two parts to it, okay? It's never quite as simple as just saying, well, you never gave them any space. I think the most critical thing in there is that Rhode Island did also make a few mistakes. If the first touch wasn't there, Phoenix Rising's defense was ready to pounce all game long. They put them under pressure. They forced them into awkward positions. They didn't make it easy on them at any stage. And so everything that they were doing was rushed. It wasn't necessarily from particularly good looks. And so what you end up with is a large amount. You look at all those chances, you take the penalty out and they're not really ahead on the XG, are they, at that point? And that tells you something. That tells you that Rising were creating with a lot less, much better chances. The attacks that were dangerous were quick. They were a little bit varied as well. I mean, you know what's interesting, right? We talk about the change in the attack and Remi coming in and Panos coming in. A lot of the passing, if you look at it, especially as it involves Remi, is involved more with Panos and Rito and out on that side. Okay, how many times does Remi Quajo find Remi Cabral tonight? Give me a number.
How many times? Oh, passing matrix?
How many times you find him? Yeah.
It's a good handful. Give me, say, gentleman's 9. This is the one time. Oh, shut up. Really?
Yeah.
That's it. Just the goal. Just the goal.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
If you actually pull up the passing matrix, which we don't have at hand, it doesn't even show because it's too few passes. It doesn't count.
News to me. That's crazy.
Found him. But when he found him, he made it count. You had amazing. In that case, and we've seen this a lot, I think, with this Rising team, is that when they play with Panos and Rito down the one side, you end up with a lot of play in the attacking third goes through them. It goes out on that side, and it can make you feel a little bit lopsided. The key thing is that then when you attack down the other side, you're going to catch them. And as long as you execute on that other side in the smaller number of times that you go down that way, you have a chance. Okay, I think that's what we saw tonight, in at least for the first goal. Right? Again, there just weren't many. It felt as though, once again, this team is focusing down that Panos Rito kind of right-hand side, at least in the first half for a lot of it.
You're not wrong. Listen, it's a lot of those changes, they helped, right? Solidifying the midfield, solidifies that rotation that this team can offer. You want to solidify your rotation, might I recommend our friends at OG's Brands. Add that to your rotation. Is Flavoring Friday after all. OG's Brands, right? They are a great accompaniment to whatever you have going on. It is the weekend. Celebrate with that Phoenix Rising win. Maybe you're pairing it with a little bit of sativa, right? Have a little bit of an uppy up night. Let's go watch the Suns. Nice way to kind of chill into that, right? Or you need to calm down a little bit later, right? Kind of ride down this high after that. You know, kind of, I would recommend a little bit of an indica with our friends at OG's Brands. Of course, they have the fruits, the creams, and the pegs RSO, everything like that. All the great stuff. Check them out online at ogsbrands.com. Again, on the website, and then, of course, on socials at OG's Brands. And, of course, you must be 21 years or older to enjoy responsibly. Look at PHNX Sports in the chat was saying that's a great transition. I really appreciate that.
We don't need producers to stroke Max's ego. The man has a big ego as it is.
Listen, when people compliment me, you gotta, do a little thing there. But hey, don't compliment
on the back again, Max.
I didn't say anything. Our audio listeners will have no idea what you're talking about, but you know what
you just patted yourself on the back again, didn't you, Max?
Our friends at Circle K, I'll pat them on the back. I'll pat them on the back when I'm going. Nice. I'm going to Circle K, right? For all different times, right? I will pat them on the back wholeheartedly for their Inner Circle program. Their Inner Circle program, right? It's fantastic. What more can you want? You want to save 25 cents off a gallon? Right? You want to save 25 cents off a gallon on your first 5 fill-ups? It sounds pretty darn good. If you haven't done so already, I don't know what you're waiting for, but please download the Circle K app, opt into the Inner Circle program. All you need is a phone number. And again, save 25 cents off per gallon of your first 5 fill-ups. You can save up to 5 cents per gallon, just by participating, just by straight up buying gas from there, right? Gas prices are high. Circle K is trying to keep it low. They got Polar Pops, right? You can get a nice XL Polar Pop, right? Usually it's about a little over $1. You can get it for under $1 purely just by being an Inner Circle member, which is for free. It's a free program. Literally filled up today. I actually got filled up later. I got a Polar Pop autographed by Michael Wilson at our PHNX Cardinals draft party. It was a thing. I asked a professional athlete to sign my Polar Pop, and it happened. But you know what? That's what Circle K does. It's just darn good people there. Check out Circle K again. Their Inner Circle program. Better hot dogs on one person account. Much better hot dogs than at a certain stadium. That's all we're gonna say. Just one man's opinion, but. I endorse that, right? Circle K, shout out the Inner Circle program and their app. Terms and conditions do apply. See participation locations for details.
Okay, Max, you know what? We've been talking a lot about our opinions. Should we loop someone else's opinion in now?
I think that's helpful.
Should we get the overall take from Phoenix Rising head coach, Mr. Danny Stone?
I like it.
Obviously delighted with the victory, and like I've said a lot this season, the players deserve a lot of credit for that. It was a hard-fought win tonight. I think a deserved win in terms of what we put into the game. And I thought first half we started the game well. We got ourselves quite quickly onto the front foot, I thought, and created a couple of good moments early on. Scored some good goals. I was pleased with the energy that the team showed tonight in that situation. And that's not an easy task. Like I said before the game, it's a long way to travel, and it's a tough away game. This, and I think the mentality towards the performance tonight was the most pleasing aspect for me. We had to see out some pressure in the second half, and that was expected a little bit when a team is 2-0 down and they have to come and push the game a little bit. We expected to have to see out some spells of attacks at our goal, and I thought we saw that out with a strength. And a strength of mind as well as a strength of body. When we did what we needed to do, obviously, Rocco makes a very good save from a penalty, which I haven't seen it back. I thought maybe was a little bit harsh, but again, overall, very pleased with the performance, very, very pleased with the players and what they put into that win tonight.
Listen, man, these players, they stepped up. They made the performance, and as much as these refs try to get Rhode Island back in the game, Rising's like, we're not having it. You're not going to snatch this victory away from us. No way.
I will say this: I know you're kind of leading us on to this, and you want to talk about Sergei Demianchuk, don't you, in the middle tonight, and some of the decisions. Let's talk about the penalty decision. Right, I didn't have a great angle on it. Live, I'm behind the opposite goal at the time that it happens. I watched it back a couple of times, and to be fair, again, the broadcast angle is not amazing. It feels a little harsh. It feels as though there's no real movement of arm to ball. It feels as though it's quite close. It doesn't feel as though the arm is necessarily that far out. But again, maybe that's the angle. Maybe it's not telling the full story. But it felt a little bit harsh. It was a poor penalty, very poor penalty from Dikwa. I mean, again, every penalty save is a great penalty save, but they're not quite all born equal, because if you ultimately don't, get enough on that in terms of width,
Yeah, I don't disagree, right? It certainly was not a Max Simpson cool, as you like, penalty finish.
Here he goes, Mr. Golden Boot.
Just saying, come on now. Scott in the chat, right? He sums it up well. Pen was harsh, as was the first yellow card. I mean, yeah, right? You watch in real time, you're kind of thinking, really, that's what we're going to give as a penalty. Okay. I don't know. It's one of those, right? Rocco Rios Novo, now the second penalty save of the season. The guy the guy has it in his genes. No matter how many it is, right? He has a track record of saving those pens. Was it a well-taken pen? No. But to your point, no matter when a penalty is saved, clearly it's not good enough. But easy enough for the keeper, but it's certainly not that when it's in the moment. He continued to hold a shutout until, well, let's get to the other decision, right? You were there.
Reese is correcting me.
It was second save. Thank you.
It
was. Yes, the other one was wide right as hell. Yes, correct. That was last week. Yes. Talk us through right towards the end. We're getting the very rare 6-second call. What's up with that?
I mean, to be fair, it took a while.
Okay, but is that ever called? Is that ever really called?
It is called sometimes. I'll say this. It's a bizarre decision, I think, to give in that moment. It's one that's very rarely given, and you're not going to find many people at USL level who do it. I'll also add that, to an extent, I mean, I counted at least 25 seconds with the ball in hand when I looked at it. I don't know at what point the referee tells him vocally it's time to get rid of the ball, which happens. Okay, normally you're going to get that shout before. They're not going to sneak up on you normally with the 6 second. I don't know if he did in this case or not. But if he was to have given him a shout and then Rocco does the little kind of fake release and doesn't release it, I get that it looks like you're wasting time. It's very rarely called. It's so rarely called, actually, that we're at the point where the IFAB are actually investigating changing what the result of it is to create a different consequence that they feel is less likely to result in a goal like that happening, because that may encourage it to be called more often.
That's bullshit.
They're talking about moving it to a corner or a throw-in for the opposing team. Okay, so the idea behind it being it's perhaps less of an obvious opportunity than that happened right behind me here.
Sure.
And ultimately did result in a goal. It's weird. It happens a couple of times, but it's very, very rare. I was surprised to see it called in this kind of scenario.
Yeah. You ain't wrong. To see, Devin all sums it up well in the chat. It is called, but it really called.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, listen, that resulted in a goal for Rhode Island. Decently well taken, top ends. That's fine. And you kind of get the feeling 2-1 is this really on? After all of this, we're heading into going into the latter part of stoppage time. Is this really going to happen? And Fede Varela, right, kind of clangs off the post. Listen, hats off to him. The man scored. I was very nervous when I left his foot. I'm like, this is going to happen. But, hey, it goes back in the net, 3-1, Phoenix Rising. Escape with the victory. I can't even say escape. That was a pretty dominant performance, again, like I was saying. But 3-1 with the victory. And, Owen, it helps when you score a brace. And darn it, if that doesn't make you our PHNX Rising man of the match, none other than Mr. Chef himself, Remi Cabral, cooking up a damn storm. 2 goals, 0.85 XG. Again, the man had 3 shots. 2 of them were on goal, 2 of them in the back of the net. And here's the other part, again, that goes along with just that superior movement and positioning that he has done. 4 fouls won, the most on the team. The dude has been, we'll call it what it is. He's been a revelation for this Phoenix Rising team this season. If Remi Cabral, if you take him out of what they were doing, this is a drastically different team and a team that I don't even want to be talking about given their offensive flow. But he has been the difference maker. The kid keeps producing.
Yeah. Huge acquisition. To the point where actually, if I'm honest, maybe it's a good thing that Colorado are doing well at the moment, because if they were struggling, I could see a case for maybe thinking about recalling him. The form that he is currently on, again, just lethal in front of goal. And that's something that translates across levels, especially making the runs, making the decisions that he made today, that you see the goals come from. Are they necessarily your big, flashy, highlight reel type goals? I mean, in one case, maybe yes, but that's mostly just because Renzo Zambrano gets completely Brexit tackled before.
I mean, he got destroyed, dude. Oh my god!
It was a challenge and a half. I'll put it that way. It's a surprise to me that there was no card that came out from that, despite the advantage being played. But at the same time, are they always your highlight reel goals? No. But what are they? They're the sign of an incredibly competent centre forward that will continue to score at a consistent rate and keep you in games and keep you in a season. Just because he's going to rack up a good number of goals if you can keep finding those spaces and making sure you're doing the hard work earlier so that final shot is an easier shot.
It does. Listen, Remi Cabral is a footballer's footballer, right? That's exactly what he is. It's not going to be a highlight reel tape like you're saying. He's not going to give you the long, at least from what we've seen, he's not going to produce those long distance shots, those bangers of goals. And a lot of the unsexy work is because he does the dirty work to get in those good positions. A lot of his goals that may come across as quote unquote easy, it's because he does so much of the hard work to get in those positions. And it's honestly something that even going back to last season, right? You have the dynamic duo we've said ad nauseum, but this is not something that this team has had. A guy with that type of hold-up ability and the ability to be like, hey, I'm going to get in those right positions and kind of do it myself, right, within some good service. Again, Remi Cabral, man of the match, very darn good material, right? You love to see the support there. You love to see someone you can rally around. I can rally around a nice Four Peaks beverage. Nice little Four Peaks beverage, right? What's not to like about a nice Four Peaks beer? Tis the season, right? Phoenix Rising, winning, scoring goals. Why don't you get yourself a Four Peaks beer to celebrate? Get another beer. What? A third beer. What? Fourth beer. What? Get those beers into your system. It's a good darn time. They got their Bad Birdie, Juicy Golden Ale. It's amazing, right? Owain, you had a little Bad Birdie. The other darn day at the PHNX Coyotes one-pack celebration.
I didn't have one, Max. I had a few.
And dare I say, did you say that replaced the Wowie in your rotation? You love the Wowie.
Max, I've said this multiple times, my man. You should have known it by now. Come on.
Hey, listen.
See, that's good. You hear the thing beeping behind there. It's like, come on, Max. Come on. We know this.
Hey, I know this. Listen, man, I'm just saying right from the Owen's mouth, right? Four Peaks. It's turn a believer of that Bad Birdie beer. And Owain, it can turn a believer into you. Of course, they already got that pedigree of all the delicious beers that they have. Check out their Bad Birdie Juicy Golden Ale at their 8th Street Pub or wherever you get your beers. Check them out at fourpeaks.com. Of course, you must be 21 years or older to enjoy responsibly. 2 places you can get your Valley Tap Room beer. It's at Valley Tap Room, right? Valley Tap Room has that Four Peaks beer for 2 locations at Gilbert and Queen Creek. Right, of course, they have the trivia, the karaoke, all the different beers, but of course, they got Four Peaks there. It's a great place to go. The wine slushies, everything like that. Owen's shivering a bit.
I also hear it's warmer than here, mate. I hear it's warmer than here.
I think it's warmer than there. I can see him.
Come on,
I know. But I know. Jumping up and down because you're thinking of that Valley Tap Room. That can warm you up there.
It would. I'm thinking about having a nice beer at Valley Tap Room.
You're darn right.
Now on the patio.
Yep. Siley in the chat is saying beers on you. Oh my gosh.
She said nice. Beers on Max, I think you'll find.
My vision must be checked. I'm pretty sure it says let's see. Albert is saying in the chat as well. Beers were certainly enjoyed at that event. Stores were told you're darn right. It's Four Peaks beers. You can get it at Four Peaks. Get it at Valley Tap Room. Check them out online at valleytaproom.com. It's gonna be a good time. Listen, I know we're gonna get you out of here. You are cold.
I'm gonna wrap up with the last few specific thoughts that I've got, and we got a couple of videos to talk about as well. So, right, let's talk as well. We obviously gave Remi Cabral man of the match, but let's also talk about another people of the match. Lots of them, well, not lots of them. There was a good handful here, and they were vocal throughout the game. The traveling support that made the trip all the way over here to Rhode Island. Here's what Danny Stone had to say about the fans who made the trip.
Fantastic. I listened to have people that have travelled 5-6 hours on a plane across the country to be here. We're so grateful to them, and we're so thankful for them. And they didn't remain quiet for a moment tonight, and we can hear their presence, and the players can hear their presence. And it's such an important piece to any away performance when you have fans in the stadium, regardless of how many people that is. It's a focal point for the players to be aware of, and it's something for the players to know and remember who they're representing. And we know this. And so listen, I can see them walking out here right now, still singing. And I'm really glad tonight that we could give them performance and a victory, and give them, I think, a great night here tonight. And I'm sure they'll enjoy themselves for the rest of the evening here. And they are incredibly important to us, and they know that. And we'll keep representing them with everything that we have.
Let's go. Dude, that's awesome, man. I saw there's a good contingent of people who traveled across the damn country to be there.
Yeah, no, really good turnout in the end of people who managed to make the trip over here. And they were loud. Had some new songs for some players. We saw the players interacting with them, of course, because they were right by here, right behind that bench, and just I think that spurred them on a lot, to be honest. You saw a lot of the fight late in the game, but you also saw just some of the players and the way they were reacting to the crowd. It was good to see. It was really, really good to see. The one other thing that I really want to touch on today, and I think we should give you out on this. Obviously, we knew from yesterday from the press conference that there were going to be a couple of players who weren't in the squad today, who've been struggling with a little bit with injuries. Obviously, it's become quite obvious today who those players are. Lawrence White, Jose Andres Hernandez, not including the matchday squad. I did ask Danny Stone about the kind of timetable they're looking at the moment for their recovery. Here's what he had to say.
Honestly, I don't right now. Again, like I said to you yesterday, nothing that is long-term. Short-term knocks, short-term pieces that kept him out for today. We'll see when we get back into Phoenix tomorrow what their recovery has looked like over the last couple of days, but like I said, nothing that is overly concerning, and I think probably by early next week we'll have a little bit more of a time frame to put on that.
Okay. Yep. Speedy recovery. Let's get them back. Right. It's always good to have the depth, and we'll go from there.
Yep. Right. And obviously, I spoke a lot more topics with Danny on that one. Keep an eye out on Twitter. I'll hopefully put some more videos up tonight to give you the full breakdown of what was said post-game on that one. So go check us out on Twitter, PHNX__rising, of course.
Okay. Yeah, let's go. Listen, guys, there's a lot more we can dissect from this match, and we will next week. So many performances to get into. Again, Remi Cabral, the back line was great. Rocco doing his thing, and we're going to get into all this. And I could keep talking and make Owain stay a little bit longer, but you know what? It's cold. Let's get him out of there. This man.
Max, I will hit end stream. Don't you pretend like I won't. You know that I will.
Owain and his mittens.
I will.
Let's not get Owain and his mittens all angry. Everyone appreciate joining the PHNX Rising podcast.
It's been a long day, Max. Come on. I red-eyed into here. I arrived in Boston this morning at 6 a.m. on like 2 hours sleep. And here we are. It is now 10:45 p.m. and it feels like 40 degrees Fahrenheit.
Proud of you, buddy. Anyway, you can follow us at PHNX__rising because double the underscore.
Double the Remi Cabral goals.
Double the fun and double the Remi Cabral goals and double the Emma. Boom,
Emma just chilling in the background. Emma ate a hot dog today and it was okay.
That got her. She walked off. Look at what you did. You asshole. You can follow me at Max David Simpson. You can follow Owain for all his hot dog related content and some footy in there at OJ Evans 18. You can follow Leah Merrill behind the Mac at Leah Merrill, and you can follow Jacob Franklin. What a great guy. You can follow him on. He probably has like a next door or something like that. No free ads, but I'll just throw it in there. Probably some account there. I don't know. He was showing me like his wife said he was sweeping the pool. I don't know. Don't hack into their surveillance system, but there's something there. But anyway, that's where you can follow him. It was a beautiful game, folks. I appreciate you, all of us joining us. We'll be back next week. It's going to be awesome, but it's a beautiful game. What's way more beautiful when Phoenix Rising get their first away victory of the season. Maybe let's go!
We all silly like the mayor.